Have you ever heard of something called the Corporate Transparency Act? For anyone that has anything to do with an LLC, especially if you're more than 25% owner, January 1, 2024 becomes a very important date for an act of Congress you might not have heard about. Pat Slack and Brandon Bennett's here, Century 21 Commercial in Kearney, Nebraska. Pat, normally we talk about real estate, whether that's for commercial investment, land, or development. But this week's Fast Friday doesn't have too much to do with real estate, except for many of our clients and those that are looking have an interest in an LLC or some other kind of corporate structure. And with a law that was passed back in 2019, all of a sudden, January 21st, 2024 becomes very important.
Yeah, that's what's enacted by this Corporate Transparency Act. And essentially what it's for, Brandon, is to stop money laundering and racketeering and abusing corporations and LLCs to hide. Now, this is not an IRS thing. This is reporting directly to the Department of the Treasury, and they want to just know that any individual that is more than 25% owner, who they are. So essentially the key factor to know to report is if you need to file something at your state level to run your corporation or entity within that state. And so that's most of them. I mean, I've got LLCs and corporations both, and we're just gonna have to do it. Is it a burden? Absolutely. This is not something that your accountant is going to do for you. This is more of a legal matter to get through. And it's not to determine if you're paying fair taxes and things of that nature. It is truly the intent of this act is to stop that money laundering. And you know, the biggest conversations lately is foreign held land ownership. And so I think this is just one of the government's way of controlling that, but one of the unintended consequences is more paperwork. So it's not a scary thing. You just have to register and know where you stand within your corporation. And you know, if it's less than 25%, don't sweat it. But you need to have legal counsel tell you if you need to file or not. And most likely you will have to.
It's called the Corporate Transparency Act. It goes into effect January 1st of this coming year, January 1st of 2024. So if you've heard of it, great. If not, might do some research on it. And of course, talk to your legal counsel and see what you need to do to be in compliance. Pat Slack and Brandon Bennett's here, Century 21 Commercial in Kearney, Nebraska. If you have any questions, give us a call, 308-234-5550. Have a great weekend.